You can. Manisha, you are the
Yes,
only one who's
yes, ma'am.
presenting, or do you have a small group with you?
Ma'am, I have also
Ma'am,
prepared.
Anisha, your audio is not very clear. If you want to talk, just see if you can improve the quality of audio, because I don't know, I'm not able to listen clearly. I want, when presentation, it may be a very small talk, but let us ensure that all of us are able to listen clearly. Anisha, just check your audio, and you may sit in a place where the network is strong. Manisha's is clear. Shall we begin?
okay, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
I want all the other students in the class to be alert, listen, and let us initiate a discussion based on her presentation.
So let's start, ma'am.
Yes.
So as we know that the new policy is introduced recently, that is NEP 2020. We can also say it NPE, means National Policy on Education, or NEP means National Education Policy, and it is influenced by a European method. As we know that it had already first introduced in 1968, and then come in 1986, and then a revised version came in 1992, that is the report of Yaspal committee, and that says that the learning without burden, but that is only revised version of 1986. But after 34 years, the new policy is introduced, that is NPE 2020. And there are many points that is discussed in this policy, but it is not possible that I can say you all the points in one class. So I want to tell you some of the main points that is introduced in this new policy. Okay, so as we know that the first in 2019, a revised draft of the this NPE had already came in 31st May 2019, and this is the report of Dr. K. Kasturi Ranjan. Actually, he is a ISRO scientist, but now it is already introduced in now finally NEP in 2020. So there are some main focus points of this policy. First one is about 2 crore out of school children will be brought back into mainstream under NEP 2020. It means कोई बच्चा जो किसी कारण से अपना स्कूल या कंटिन्यू नहीं कर पाया हो, या कोई बैकग्राउंड इशू हो, और या फिर फैमिली इशू जिस कारण से वो स्कूल ज्वाइन नहीं कर पाया था, वो अब 2 करोड़ जो बच्चे हैं, लगभग अबाउट 2 करोड़, फिर से उस बच्चे को स्कूल में लाया जाएगा. इट मीन्स टू इंक्रीज द GER by 50% by 2035. This GER means gross enrollment ratio. This ratio is the difference between the enrollment of student in a year and the enrollment of student in the next year. Means इन गैप 2035 तक इस गैप को 50% तक बढ़ा देना है. एक ये मेन फोकस हुआ. एंड देन द सेकेंड मेन focus point is to make the India in the terms of education as a superpower. As we know that in the literacy of India is very low, so this policy is introduced to improve the education of the India, to make the Indian education very powerful. And as we know that all the what education related is controlled by the MHRD, that is Ministry of Human Resource Development. Now, according to this policy, this MHRD renamed as Education Ministry. And there are three main points that I want to discuss with all of you. First one is that is new format. As we already बहुत सारी न्यूज वीडियो में देख रहे हैं 5+3+3+4. So what is this? I will tell you after some time. Then the second one is higher education, and the third one is what teacher education for teacher. Means there are 3 points that we have to discuss, at least 3 points that very main points that is introduced in this NEP 2020. So what is this new format? As we know that in the previous year, the N plus 2 format was followed, but now this form is now removed. Then the new format is introduced, that is 5 plus 3 plus 4. What is this? Let me say you for yes. This 5 means first stage is called foundational stage. This 5 means the total 5 years, and up to from 3 years to 8 years are children involved in this stage. Means और इस 5 ईयर को दो कैटेगरी में बांटा गया है. फर्स्ट 3 plus 2 means first 3 years is for pre-primary school और आंगनबाड़ी और प्ले स्कूल. मीन्स पहले 3 साल बच्चे को किसी प्ले स्कूल में डाला जाएगा या किसी स्कूल के प्राइमरी स्कूल में डाला जाएगा या फिर आंगनबाड़ी में जाएगा. देन नेक्स्ट 2 ईयर जो क्लास 1 and 2 होंगे, जिसमें एज 6 to 8 के बच्चे आएंगे, उनको क्लास 1 and 2 में डाला जाएगा. और ड्यूरिंग दिस स्टेज देयर इज नो एग्जाम will be conduct, and this policy focused on the learning by playing. As we know that the NCF says that the learning by doing, but this policy says that learning by playing means बच्चे को खेल खेल में पढ़ाया जाएगा. Then let's come to the second stage, that is called preparatory stage, means 3 years. In this 3 years, the age of the children, that is from 8 to 11 years, comes in this stage, and the class 3, 4, 5 in this stage, the class 3, 4, 5 is. In this, there are some things that there are some points that is introduced, that in this stage the teacher should have to teach the student in their mother tongue. Means if a student belongs to Punjab, then a teacher have to teach the student in their regional language, that is Punjabi. And if the student belongs to Kerala, then the teacher have to teach the student in their regional language, that is Malayalam. And from this stage exam will start. And then the next 3 years, that is called middle stage. In this the age of the children, that is from 11 to 14 years will include in this stage. There are many points that is focused during this stage. First one is to introduce the computer education during this class, that is 6, 7 and 8. Means as we know that during this pandemic we have to study online, and I think there's lots of problem that students as well as teachers have to face during this online classes. So to solve this problem, this new policy is introduced, and in this policy it says that computer education will introduce in this class 6, 7, 8. And then the second main very interesting thing, that is internship. If a student want to do some internship in some particular field, then he will able to join any practical coaching or anything. मीन्स अगर किसी बच्चे को पेंटिंग में इंटरेस्टेड है तो वो किसी पेंटर के पास जाके इंटर्नशिप कर सकता है. And if a student is interested in any software, then he can also go to some software company and do their internship. Actually इन सब के पीछे का गवर्नमेंट का ये सोचना है कि किसी एक स्किल में बच्चे को, किसी एक फील्ड में बच्चे को स्किल्ड होकर ही आना होगा, जिसके कारण से ये स्किल उनके फ्यूचर में काम आएंगे. कि किसी एक फील्ड में वो अगर स्किल्ड हो तो वो फ्यूचर में जाके उस स्किल से कुछ अपना फ्यूचर बना सकते हैं और देश के लिए कुछ कर सकते हैं. देन द वन मोर थिंग ड्यूरिंग दिस स्टेज इज वोकेशनल एजुकेशन. If one student is interested in carpenting, then he can also do that carpenting because this all the vocational education, अगर जो भी vocational education वो इसलिए इंट्रोड्यूस किया गया है क्योंकि अगर वो कोई भी चीज जो उसके इंटरेस्ट का सीखना चाहता है वो सिर्फ वो सीखने के लिए नहीं होगा, वो उनके रिपोर्ट कार्ड में भी ऐड होगा. दिस थिंग्स says in this during this stage, that is middle stage, class 6, 7 and 8. Then come to the next stage, that is 4 year, that is the secondary stage. As we know that पहले हम लोग को स्ट्रीम वाइज डिवाइड कर दिया जाता था, लाइक there is science, commerce and arts. So in this stage, the age of 14 to 18 student include in this stage, means class 9, 10, 11, 12, 4 year. Okay, so in this year there is no stream system, means if a student want to study physics as well as he is interested in history, then he can able to learn both the subject. But there is a pool system, means government will create a pool, means एक pool बनाएंगे जिसमें कि सारे सब्जेक्ट का मिक्सचर होगा, जिसमें कि हिस्ट्री भी डाला जाएगा, फिजिक्स भी डाला जाएगा और अकाउंटेंसी सब्जेक्ट भी डाला जा सकता है, एज इट इज डिसाइडेड बाय द गवर्नमेंट, नथिंग वी कैन से अबाउट इट. ओके, सो अगर बच्चे उस पूल में सेटिस्फाई है, अगर उसका इंटरेस्ट है कि वो अगर हिस्ट्री पढ़ना चाहता है, वो अगर फिजिक्स सीखना चाहता है और वो अगर अकाउंटेंसी सब्जेक्ट भी पढ़ना चाहता है और वो सारे इंटरेस्ट उसके वो पूल सेटिस्फाई कर रहे हैं, देन ही विल एबल टू चूज दैट पूल. ओके, सो देयर इज नो स्ट्रीम सिस्टम एंड नाउ नोबडी can say that I am doing ISC, I am doing ICOM or I am doing IA. So these are the main things that is introduced in this new format, that is 5 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4. Then come to the next slide. NCERT will develop a national curriculum and pedagogical framework for early childhood care and education, that is NCPFECCE, for children up to the age of 8, as we had already discussed that in this stage, that is the first foundational stage, इसमें बच्चे को से एग्जाम नहीं लिया जाएगा और उनको लर्निंग बाय प्लेइंग से सिखाया जाएगा, जिसमें कि बच्चे के केयर और उनके चाइल्डहुड को भी देखा जाएगा, क्योंकि ये स्टेज जो होता है वो अर्ली चाइल्डहुड का स्टेज होता है. एज वी नो दैट देयर आर 2 stages in the childhood, that is early childhood and the second one is later childhood. So अभी हम डिस्कस वो सब नहीं करेंगे, अभी हम अर्ली चाइल्डहुड पर ध्यान देते हैं. तो इस NCERT एक करिकुलम डेवलप करेगा जो कि अभी हुआ नहीं है, वो 2020 और 30 तक डेवलप किया जाएगा, जिसमें कि बच्चे के छोटे बच्चे जो अप टू एज ऑफ 8 के एजुकेशन पर ध्यान दिया जाएगा. देन नेक्स्ट स्लाइड विल से दैट National Educational Technology Forum to be created, because ये देखा गया कि बहुत सारे टेक्नोलॉजी इशू बाद में बच्चे को फेस करने पड़ते हैं. सो अब एजुकेशन टेक्नोलॉजी को एजुकेशन में भरपूर तरीके से इस्तेमाल किया जाएगा, इसके लिए एक फोरम भी क्रिएट किया जाएगा. Then the next slide says that a new national assessment center, that is called PARAK. What is this PARAK? PARAK is performance assessment, review and analysis of knowledge for holistic development, will be set up as a standard setting body. Means अब टीचर को सिर्फ किसी एक चीज को देखकर असेस नहीं करना, उसके होलिस्टिक डेवलपमेंट को देखकर असेस करना है. एज द सीसी ऑलरेडी सेज दैट बच्चे का रिपोर्ट कार्ड उसके करिकुलम और को करिकुलम दोनों को देखकर किया जाएगा. इस हिसाब से ये परख भी एक सेंटर बनाया जाएगा जिसमें कि बच्चे के परफॉर्मेंस को असेस किया जाएगा, और इसके लिए एक NCERT स्टैंडर्ड सेटिंग करेगा जिससे कि टीचर को एटलीस्ट उस स्टैंडर्ड को फॉलो करना चाहिए जब वो असेसमेंट कर रहा हो किसी बच्चे का. ये नहीं कि अगर वो उसके फेवरेट स्टूडेंट है तो वो उसको ज़्यादा मार्क्स देंगे और अगर कोई स्टूडेंट अच्छा नहीं है तो उसे कम मार्क्स देंगे. ये ऐसा नहीं होगा, उनके होलिस्टिक डेवलपमेंट को देखकर असेस किया जाएगा. देन द नेक्स्ट पॉइंट इज नो रिजिड सेपरेशन Yes, ma'am.
Excuse me, Manisha, you finish this stage, maybe higher education and teacher education, we can take up in the future classes, because I'm sure there will be more discussion on this. Maybe
Yes,
another
ma'am.
2 3 minutes you complete about these things, the structure which you are talking. Okay,
Okay, okay, ma'am.
you are doing very well. Keep it up. Very good.
Thank you, ma'am. So, as we had already discussed all these points, that is no stream system. So now come to the higher education. Yes, there is also new things that is
Oh, just a
introduced.
minute. Sorry,
Yes,
Manisha.
yes,
Uh,
ma'am.
Higher education will take up in a different class. Is it okay?
Okay, ma'am. Yes,
Because
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
I'm interested in discussion and viewpoints from others. Let us critically look at it. You are suggesting, you are presenting what is there in the
This.
policy.
Yes,
Let's
ma'am.
open up some critical reflections on it. There are
Ma'am,
two things. Yes, please.
ma'am, I want that because I see very many
Mm,
videos on this
mm,
NEP,
mm,
so I suggest a negative point that is in this new policy. That is the mother tongue that is introduced in this preparatory
mm,
stage. That is
mm,
from age of 8 to 11 years, and
mm,
as we know that this is the early childhood period, so this period is very important period for language development.
mm,
And as this policy says that give preference to the mother tongue means
mm.
regional language, then it may be some problem that a student will have to face in the future for their English language,
Oh,
because
oh,
if
oh.
we because in this stage the student is able to acquire any language, either it is English, either it is Malayalam or any language. But after
Yes,
some
yes.
time, when he goes up to from at a in a adolescence period, then he have to learn that language. Now he is not able to acquire that language. So this I think this is one thing that I think that it is not good for in this policy. Yes, ma'am. That's all.
Thank you. Thank you. You have given your negative point.
Yes,
I
ma'am.
don't know. You are carried away by the videos and newspaper and TV news which is coming, where the influencers of education are speaking about this, or taking your own, you think yourself as a student,
Yes, ma'am.
as a teacher, do you think this as a negative for the policy? Keep your answers to yourself. Keep it. We will come back to you again, because you have read, I'm sure. Maybe many others also have come prepared.
Yeah,
First
yes,
of
ma'am.
all, let me congratulate the class as a whole. You are taking responsibility. You are coming up and you are talking and you are reading, you are coming prepared. I'm really happy. Now, though she has much more to talk, I think it's better to open the a forum for discussion. I'm interested to know your reflection. She has already talked a little critical view, she has given clear understanding. Anybody else, I request, you have to unmute and speak. If two people at a time are speaking, one of you may have to, that is, you have to follow that online platform requirement of talking two at a time. If you are there, one of you may please close the mic. Next chance, the person who put the mic on will get.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning.
Guru Rakshit first.
Yes, ma'am. Actually, I want to answer the question of Manisa that about the language development among the children.
Yeah, you give your view.
Yes,
Tell,
ma'am.
or answer
Ma'am,
it. Yeah, there is some
yes,
answer
ma'am.
also, there is view also. Go ahead.
Yes, ma'am. Actually, she pointed out that English should be there. Actually, that age is of the language development phase of a child. But when we go in our earlier things also, as Mahatma Gandhi also pointed out, that mother tongue based education should be there. And I do support that point, because if a child is not well versed, if the child doesn't acquire master level of accuracy in his mother tongue, then how one can say that he is going to learn with another language? Because secondary language can only be learned on the basis of the primary language. And even if we will make English as their primary language, it cannot be done because native speakers are not there in India. So I completely support this mother tongue based education should be there, and it should be there till class 8. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, thank you, Guru Rakshit. I think Mona Lisa was together with Guru Rakshit. Somebody,
Yes, ma'am.
yeah.
Good morning, ma'am.
No, I'm really tempted to give my perspectives and my a kind of answer to this first and then continue the discussion. But I'm very happy. I don't want to curb your enthusiasm to speak. Mona Lisa.
Ma'am, you told that to search in different social media. So in Twitter, there is a trending that is the Tamil Nadu government is opposing this NEP because of language system. They say that they have already achieved their GER, which is 49% in Tamil Nadu. So they say that their Dravidian system is much more effective than this NEP. And some of the journalists have also raised some questions like teaching in mother tongue till class 5. So what is the mother tongue for a child whose parents come from different communities? That was a question. Ma'am, I personally believe that the mother tongue can play a vital role because, ma'am, I studied in Odia medium up to standard 7. Then I shifted to English medium. So initially I had also certain gradually, if you are strong in mother tongue, then your family member and teachers can translate it, and you can definitely acquire the knowledge if you are interested, genuinely interested. So mother tongue is not a big issue.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. I can take one more view.
Ma'am, I would like to add one point what has Guru said. Ma'am, in India, it is multilingualism nation, and we have lost more than 1,000 of dialects in the past decade. People say language is not a barrier for learning, but we have lost 1,000 of dialects in the past.
Yes.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yeah.
I also
Yeah.
want to add what Anisha said, that many dialects and languages are dying away. And it's because I think the obsessive nature with the English language and what the government has made compulsory with regards to this national education policy. I think it is right because languages are dying away not because because people are not wanting anymore to speak in that language. If my mother tongue is Odia, and nowadays many are there outside who say that their mother tongue is Odia, but they don't know how to read Odia language or like that. They don't know how to read Odia script, and only they know is to speak in Odia. That's all. And this is leading to death of many languages, and it is not at all good because our India is known for its multilingual nature and multicultural nature, and language and culture are very much related. And if this is made compulsory in school, then I think it will lead to a better future where languages are there besides English, which are respected equally as English is.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I know if we continue this debate, it can go on and on. But let this, you can continue this later also. I'll just come in for a few minutes and I'll open up. See why they suggested this. Actually, this policy is talking about multilingualism and the power of language. It is talking about language as a power. And why? Because there are scientific reasons, that is research evidence. When Guru Rakshit said about learning of, anyway, let me use the term home language, though it is genetically it is called as mother tongue. I'll use the term home language because one of you also came up with a issue that if they are from a different place, parents are from different place, which is their mother tongue, all these confusions exist. So let us say home language, that is the language which is spoken at home and which is in the environment. There are evidences that a child is born with a genetic component of language learning, and that is for the home language. That is what we call as mother tongue. Some of you, the language students, might have studied Noam Chomsky's language acquisition device. He has given a beautiful theory of language acquisition where he says child is naturally ingrained or predisposed to learn the home language or the mother tongue because genetically they are endowed with that capacity. Once that is appropriately developed, it is very easy to learn the other languages because the rules, the procedure more or less will be similar, and the proficiency in home language helps the children. Those who have proficiency in one language or the home language will have edge over others in learning many languages. This is one research evidence, and research evidence also shows that the neural plasticity is at the highest till age 8, age 5 more, and then till age 8. So and language acquisition is very easy for younger children. This is the second evidence. And another thing is, I think Priyanka was trying to put it, the dying of some language, the dying of some cultures because of not using the language. And we all know how happy we feel if we are able to converse in our home language or the language with which we are very proficient with. Given an option, I would prefer speaking all this in Kannada to you. But I have to resort to English. That is where I agree with Manisha when she said English has a role, especially in India, in a very multilingual country, for connecting with each other, to communicate with everyone. We cannot ignore English, and this policy nowhere ignores English. Okay, and another thing I'll tell you, when you go somewhere, you will see somebody talking in your home language or mother tongue. Don't you feel so happy and you want to begin conversation in that language? English is, it is like compulsion. We use English with compulsion because there is no option. The moment I see somebody talking in Kannada, I would definitely switch over to Kannada, especially when you travel. Even in India, when you travel to Delhi or somewhere, if I see somebody speaking Kannada, I'll definitely get attached, or they will also get attracted to me. And when you leave the country and go outside, the power becomes more. One more thing I'll tell you, I was going for this Nishtha program in various states. You know about Nishtha because the whole last year, the institute was buzzing with Nishtha. I went to Karnataka Nishtha also. And when I went to Karnataka Nishtha, because you know, they're all elementary teachers, it doesn't mean they do not know English. And they were all selected based on some test, and they were all good in English. But still, my interaction fully in the Nishtha with the Karnataka group was in Kannada. And that is where I realized the power of language, the power of our own language, the rootedness with which we get connected to the language. I could relate so easily with the participants, and the interaction continued, and they were so happy. They expressed so much. It was so tiring listening to English and Hindi, and it's such a refreshing class because we got to hear Kannada. See, the language has that power, and this is our research and also the practical experience says. One more point, I think Priyanka and Monalisha also touched upon this. There is so much of knowledge, there is wisdom stored in every native language. We all can look at Bengali, Oriya literature, Kannada literature, Tamil. Every language has fund of literature in it. Assami, every language. If we lose touch with, if we slowly letting the languages die, it is the death of the culture, and it is the death of the knowledge and wisdom which is stored in the language. Keeping all this in the background, the new education policy has suggested, again, here is a correction. I'm telling a correction. It never says it is mandatory. Manisha, English is not mandatory. It says wherever possible, home language
Yes.
or mother tongue will be the medium of instruction. See, they have given scope. They know parents who are in a transferable job, or they have given freedom to the state to decide that, and the schools to plan that, depending upon the environment in which they are in. There is lot of scope, but in giving the scope, we really lose the essence of this kind of policy, because more or less we all know, all of us go for English education. But let us keep English education. Here, this policy gives option to get immersed in different languages in the young age. That is the beauty, wherein naturally a parent will choose the language which is their own language. Say there are parents who are speaking Kannada and Bengali. So they can choose to. And even the 3-language policy continues. Monalisha, Tamil Nadu objected this because Hindi was compulsory in the draft. But now you see the policy, what they have made, 3-language formula, out of which 2 should be Indian languages. They don't say Hindi is compulsory or anything like that to hurt the sentiments of the Dravidians. Hindi is not compulsory, but it is an option. But out of the 3-language, 2 language should be Indian. This is only with the idea of preserving the culture of India, multilingualism, appreciating the knowledge in every area. Because now I know how happy I feel when I read a Kannada literature, and what fund of knowledge is there in literature. I feel very bad when the present generation of students in Karnataka are deprived of all those knowledge, all that wisdom. So keeping these sentiments in mind, this policy has given scope for students to learn more than 1 language, more than 1 compulsorily 2 Indian languages. I want your further reflections. Yes, Nidhi, totally agree. English, there is no restriction on learning English in this policy. And once we are well versed with our own language, see, that is again an optional thing here. Somebody can study English from the beginning, and we know there are many schools who are English medium schools. Nothing will affect that. Only thing is they have to introduce other languages also. And English is very essential, and I have even listened to some debate wherein they says India in the yes, 3 language is compulsory. What? Sorry, somebody's anyway. Our India's competition with China is we always have an upper hand because of the language, English. And Indians are able to make their presence felt in every country they go because of their stronghold with English. That is to be appreciated, and that it should be nurtured. We will not say English has to be curbed or no encouragement to English. It is already there. There was a question in the chat box just now. What is that? 3 language compulsory. What is it? Yeah, Rashmi Singh. 3 language is compulsory. Yes, the policy says 3 language formula. Some of you may be fine learning 2 languages, but to explore the culture, tradition embedded in the language, an option is given to have 1 more language. In a way, it is imposing 3 language in curriculum. But there are wider options. So much of opportunities are there in choosing. Yeah, anybody want to speak? I think it need not be on language. We were carried away by the language issue.
Good morning, ma'am.
Yeah, Binayak.
Ma'am, first of all, I want to say that I'm not in a position to bring out any limitation of this policy, but I have one concern that if we look back 2 to 3 years back, it was around 2012-13 when CCE was being introduced. Then again later in the year 2017, they scrapped down the CCE due to some reasons. Then again, this policy speaks about that boards should be relaxed, then exams should be conducted in a more relaxed manner. And again, formative assessment is being stressed. So why this so much fluctuation?
You're talking of assessment as a main concern. I think we really need little time, and we are almost at the end of this class. I know you will have another class also. Shall we continue this? Manisha also can bring certain points.
Yes,
She has already talked about the Parak, the holistic
yes,
assessment,
ma'am.
which is been visualized for the future. Slowly it will be in place, and the national testing agency will be set up, and the examination will not be there. The final examination totally up to class 8, it is stage wise assessment of 3, 5 and 8, and it is the developmental assessment more than the content or the rote learning or the knowledge assessment. It is the competency assessment and the developmental assessment, what a child has to have at this stage of development. It's called as 360-degree assessment also. There are very good framework which are suggested also, how it has to be done, how the holistic assessment has to be made, how to use technology in maintaining these things, keeping the child's record. All these suggestions are there. Anyway, this is just opening up a window for you to think further, so that you get attracted to reading the document. Wherever doubt is there, we can further discuss. It's already 11:30. Thank you very much. Thank you, Anisha, for initiating this. And thanks all the presenters and the contributors. We shall continue. Though my plan was to teach sociological perspectives of determinants of curriculum, I can hold on. I can do it after the next class. One more class, we shall continue with this discussion. And through this discussion also, we can bring in the sociological perspective. How is it determining the curriculum as perceived by the new policy? That also we can discuss. We can link philosophical, psychological, we have already studied. Sociological we will see, and we will see how they are linking with the new policy. What is that? We are our future thought. Let us look at it. Thank you so much. See you next class. Same link. 10:40 the class will be open. You can join with the same link. Bye-bye. All of you can listen to the videos and read. So much of material is available. You can read. Thank you. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.